আজকে গ্রুপ থিওরির খুব ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট একটা জায়গা ডিসকাস করব আমরা। সেই জায়গাটার নাম হচ্ছে কনজুগেসি রিলেশন। অ্যান্ড আফটার স্টেটিং কনজুগেসি রিলেশন উই উইল স্টার্ট ক্লাস ইকুয়েশন, যেটা ভীষণই ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট টপিক। বাট কনজুগেসি রিলেশন থেকে ক্লাস ইকুয়েশনে যেতে গেলে তার মাঝখানে 3টে থিওরেম স্টাডি করতে হবে। 3টে থিওরেমই আমরা আজকের লেকচারে স্টাডি করব। তারপরের লেকচারে আমরা ক্লাস ইকুয়েশন নিয়ে ডিসকাস করব। তো ফার্স্ট অফ অল আমার জানা দরকার যে হোয়াট ইজ কনজুগেসি রিলেশন। আমার মনে হয় গ্রুপের খানিকটা আগের চ্যাপ্টারে আমরা কনজুগেট এলিমেন্ট কাকে বলে এই সম্পর্কে জেনেছি। তো সেক্ষেত্রে কনজুগেসি রিলেশন কিন্তু অনেকটা তার উপরে ডিপেন্ডেন্ট। তো আমরা চলে আসছি ডেফিনেশনটাতে। লেটস জি বি a group. Okay. Now we are defining any relation rho on this group such that rho equals to collections of all these ordered pairs AB such that B equal to XA X inverse for some X belong to G. Okay, B equal to XA X inverse. This relation reminds you of the conjugate element, I think. Now any element B is called the conjugate element of A if B equal to this. If we can write B equal to XA X inverse, then you can claim that this B is the conjugate of A. So according to this relation, according to this conjugacy of some elements, we are defining this relation on a group. That means two elements A and B will be related if B is conjugate to A. Okay, if it happens, then you can say that these two elements are related. That means my relation is rho equal to AB such that B is conjugate to A. Or more precisely you can write B equal to XA X inverse. Okay, so this rho is the conjugacy relation. Now my theorem is we have to show that this rho is the equivalence relation. Okay, now to prove that any relation is equivalence, we need to prove that this rho is reflexive, symmetric and transitive. These three cases we need to prove. So first thing, reflexiveness. So we are to show that X related to X where X belong to G. Okay, now look, X equal to, easily we can write X equal to E X E inverse, where my E is the identity in G. Okay, so X equal to EX E inverse, that means my relation has been satisfied. So implies what? This implies that X related to X. So implies rho is reflexive. Okay, now next one, the symmetricness. That means let X related to Y where X comma Y belong to G, and we need to prove that Y related to X. So how will you prove that? If X related to Y, then Y related to X is very easy. Now X related to Y, this implies what? This implies my Y equal to some element, let G X G inverse, you have to write for some G belong to capital G. Okay, now implies if we take the G inverse on both sides, if we pre-compose, then you will get what? My G inverse Y equal to X G inverse. Now post composition by G, so you will get G inverse Y G equal to X. G inverse, that means identity, so you will get only X. Now implies you can take G inverse equal to P, so my PY P inverse equal to X. You have to write P equal to G inverse, therefore P inverse equal to G. Okay, so P inverse equal to X, and this relation implies what? My Y is related to X. Okay, so therefore X related to Y implies Y related to X. That means this row is symmetric. Okay, similarly you can show the transitiveness also. Now let X related to Y and Y related to Z, where X, Y and Z belong to G. Now X related to Y, this implies what? You can write some Y is equal to GX G inverse. Y related to Z implies Z equal to some H Y H inverse. What is my G and H? You have to write that G comma H belong to capital G. Now we have to show what? We have to show that X related to Z. So my Z equals to, Z is equal to H Y H inverse. Okay, now equal to, how you can show that? Now Y equal to GX G inverse, so you can replace this Y by GX G inverse. You can replace this Y by GX G inverse, so replace this one, H into GX G inverse into H inverse, so equal to HG X HG inverse. Okay, now suppose my HG is equal to some Q, so Q X Q inverse, where Q equal to HG. So you have already shown that this Z, you have shown that Z is equal to QX Q inverse. That means X is related to Z. So implies X related to Z. Okay, that means what? That means my row is symmetric. So write down this case. Therefore row is not symmetric, transitive. So row is transitive. Okay, so you have proved that row is reflexive, row is symmetric and row is transitive. That means row is equivalence relation. Okay, now if our equivalence relation is defined on a group, then what we can find? We can find equivalence classes for each and every element of the group. We know this very well. So therefore equivalence class of any element of the group say A with respect to this conjugacy relation is called the conjugacy class of A, and it is denoted by class A. Okay, why this class A has been started? Because this relation row is equivalence, and as this is equivalence, a equivalence class for each and every element A will be generated. okay, with respect to this relation, and this equivalence class is called the conjugacy class of A, and it is denoted by this. Okay, now what will be the definition of my class A? My class A will be collection of all those elements B from G such that B related to A. That means collection of all those B belong to G such that B equals to XA X inverse. This is my class A. Okay, and as this row is equivalence and this class A is the equivalence class, therefore you all know very well that the group will be partitioned into all these equivalence classes. That means you can write if A1, A2 up to AK be the representatives of each conjugacy class, then G equal to what? G will be partitioned into the conjugacy class of this elements. Therefore, G is equal to class of A1 union class of A2 union union of class of AK. Okay, so this is the way G is partitioned. Why this partition occurs? Because this relation is equivalence relation, and equivalence relation implies equivalence class for each element, and this equivalence class will be called the conjugacy class, and all the conjugacy class will be summed up, and all this summed up and create G. Okay, and all this equivalence class will be union and it will make capital G. Okay, now come to theorem 2. Theorem 2 states that if G be a group and ZG be the center of the group, then A belong to ZG if and only if class A equal to singleton set A. Okay, that means if is an element of the center of the group, then class A consists of the single element A only. We need to show it. So let's prove the theorem. Okay, so firstly we will show the necessary part. I hope you remember ZG. Okay, my ZG will be what? ZG equal to collection of all those X belong to G such that XG equal to GX for all G belong to G. That means ZG is the collection of all those elements which commutes with all the elements of the group. Okay, now you have to assume that A belong to ZG. So let A belong to ZG. What does it mean? It means that A commutes with each and every element of the group. Okay, now we need to show what? We need to show that CLA is equal to A. So what my CLA is? My class A is equal to what? It is the all those B's such that B equal to XA X inverse. Okay, this is my B. That means all those elements B which are conjugates to A. This is my class A. Okay, now if A belong to ZG, then B equal to XA X inverse implies what? It will imply B equal to, look, as A belong to ZG, that means what? A will commute with every element. Now that means XA can become AX. Okay, X inverse now implies B equal to AX X inverse. That means X inverse will give you identity element. So B equal to A. So look, this B becomes A only. So my class of A will become A only. Okay, so therefore class A equal to A. Done. Therefore the condition is necessary. Okay, now let's start the sufficient part. In sufficient portion, we have to assume that CLA class A is equal to singleton set A, and we need to show that A belong to ZC. So let class A equal to singleton A. Class A equal to singleton A, it means what? It means my B is equal to only A. Okay, that means my X inverse equal to only A. So this implies what? This implies B equal to A, implies X inverse equal to A, and this implies what? This implies, so X inverse equal to A, and this implies what? If you compose X postly, then you will get XA equal to AX, and it is true for all X belong to G. That means A is commuting with all the elements of the group G. Therefore, A belong to ZG. Hence, the condition is sufficient. That means if A is any element of the center, then class A will be singleton set A only. This is a very important proof for establishment of class equation. Okay, you have to remember this theorem and remember the proof also. Now come to theorem 3. Theorem 3 states that if G be a finite group and A be any element of the group G, then the set of all left cosets of CA in G, that means this is the index notation, you all know it, this is the collections of all the left cosets of CA in G, equal to cardinality of class of A. That means the collection of the number of all the left cosets of CA in G is equal to the number of the element in the conjugacy classes of the element A. Okay, the total cardinality of class of A is equal to the number of distinct left cosets of CA in G. You have to show this. So firstly, I hope you remember what is the centralizer of an elementa, that means CA. Centralizer of A is equal to collections of all those x's such that XA is equal to AX. That means all those elements X which commutes only with A constitutes centralizer of A. So we are going to prove that two cardinalities will be equal. Okay, whenever it comes to show that cardinality of two sets are equal, we always prefer to define a mapping. Okay, so we also define a mapping here, but we are taking, let my script L is equal to the set of all left cosets of CA in G. Okay, let script L be the set of all the left coset of CA in G. Now let us define a mapping. Okay, so what will be the script L? The script L will be set of all left cosets of CA in G, means L is equal to X CA such that X belong to G. Okay, and what is my class A? Class A is equal to collection of X A X inverse, where X belong to G. That means all the conjugates of the element A. Okay, now let us define a mapping. Let F from script L to CLA, mean class of A, defined by F of X CA equal to XA X inverse. We are defining this mapping. Okay, and this mapping is well defined and bijective. Why it is well defined? Now we are going to show it. F of XCA is equal to XA inverse. Now we are taking any two elements from the domain set, that means script L, and we will show that if two elements are equal, then two conjugates elements will be also equal. Okay, so let's start. Let XCA equal to YCA. Then what happens? If XCA is equal to YCA, that means implies X inverse Y belong to CA. It's an important proof. We all know it. X inverse Y belongs to CA. That means what? That means X inverse Y will commute with A. Okay, so X inverse Y A equal to A X inverse Y. If you do the composition pre and post, you can show that XA X inverse equal to YA Y inverse. This relation will imply this one. So that means if two left cosets are equal, they will create a same conjugate element. Okay, so therefore that means if they are not equal, then they will create two different conjugate element. So therefore the cardinality of the set scriptel will be equal with the cardinality of class of A. Therefore cardinality of scriptel is equal to cardinality of class of A. That means what? The number of distinct left cosets of centralizer of A in G is equal to the total number of elements of the conjugate class of A. Hence proved. It's a very important proof, and it is equally important for the development of the class equation. Thank you.